All right, we're going to tackle this. And thank you for asking for an update. Okay, so here's what happened. We went to oncology, and our oncologist, she's really great. She's a young girl and very, very intelligent. And I said to her, as soon as we got in, because I was still hot from just all the garbage that had happened like the few days before, I said, look, I have 2 goals today with you. Number 1, not to cry, and number 2, not to get fired. Because yes, doctors can fire patients or their family members for, bad behavior or, just general jerkishness. So she kind of looked at me like, oh, dang, this is going to be an interesting appointment. So I'm going to give you kind of the short end of things. I said, I'm really angry. She said, tell me about that, which I thought was great. And so I just kind of vented a really brief synopsis. Synopsis, that's not right. Whatever. A shortened version of how I was feeling, which was great. So, and then, I'm so scatterbrained, guys. Just bear with me. Okay, so we sent his tumor pathology up to something called Foundation 1. It's like this super science test that I recommend to anybody who has cancer. They take the biopsy and they send it to this place, and they can like get down to the nitty gritty of a tumor, what it's made of, how it ticks, what it's doing, is it a mutation, where does it stem from, all this kind of thing. It's fascinating and amazing and really cool. So this whole time we thought we were dealing with a secondary cancer. We knew about the prostate cancer, and then he had this bladder tumor, so we assumed that he had bladder cancer. That's not true. It's actually his prostate cancer that has now mutated 5 times and is now like basically metastasized to the bladder. But she said the makeup of this tumor is different from the rest, if this makes any sense at all. So she's treating it essentially like 2 different cancers, but of the same source. So very, very rare. It's like less than 1% of the population gets this, has this. Not a lot of printed literature, good stuff. She took his case before a board of specialists who specialize just in like downstairs tumors, urinary, gastrointestinal type tumors. The entire board said, I got nothing. I've never seen this before. This is like unprecedented. Good luck with your bad self. So, here's the short of what they're going to do. Okay, so the type of tumor he has, because this Foundation 1 will also tell you recommendations of what you need to do to treat it, which is, again, freaking awesome. So, this Foundation 1 said it's very resistant to chemotherapy. It's very resistant to hormone therapy. It's resistant to basically everything. It's like this super cancer, whatever, okay? So here's what we're going to do, okay? We're going to treat it with something called ADT, which is androgen deprivation treatment. I think it's called, basically like hormone treatment, okay? Because prostate cancer feeds off of testosterone. That's what it eats so that it can grow. So by starting him on hormone therapy, you're taking that testosterone away in hopes to starve out the tumor. Okay, so he's been on that for the last 2 years, and it's been working. It's hard for me to follow along because, I mean, it's been working, but now we have this, but just stay with me. I'm not in love with the idea, but honestly, I'm not in love with any of this. So we're kind of taking a stab in the dark here, folks. Kind of an unprecedented thing. So we're going back to the hormone therapy that we've always done. We're going to go back to doing chemo, but a different chemo from what he was on before. And because this tumor doesn't like to listen to chemotherapy and it doesn't like to listen to hormone therapy, we're going to zap the heck out of it with radiation too. So it's like a triple, quadruple threat, essentially. And honestly, the odds suck. She said she's given it a 50-50 shot of working. The hospital oncologist said he wouldn't even say 50% it's going to work. But what are you going to do? Like, you know, my husband's 53 years old. You don't take a life of only 53 years and say, dang, Pops, that was a good time. You know, you're still young enough that, you know, there's still hope there, right? So we're going to give her a go and see what happens. The port that he had was horribly infected. The surgeon that went in to remove the port, said it was, quote, juicy in there. From a nurse, I love that. It's so gross. It's cool. It's juicy in there. So he's on some strong antibiotics at home to try to get it because it's red, it's angry, it's inflamed, it's still not happy. So he's on antibiotics at home. Next week is going to be busy for us. Next week we go to see oncology radiation to get a picture, to get an idea of what are we doing? How many zaps do you want to give them? All this stuff that they know that I don't know anything about. So we do that. We have repeat of labs because his labs have been so horrendous. And we meet with the surgeon again to just look at his stitches, see how everything's going, and if he's okay with how he's healing. Then the following week, he goes back in for surgery to have a new port placed. Hopefully nobody sneezes in it this time. Just kidding. That's not what happened last time. Probably not. And the day after port placement, we start the new chemo treatment again and just wing it and see what happens. Oh, next week too, he's having an MRI because on his last CT, there were some funky areas that I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. And our poor oncologist is like, yeah, but chances are all these active questionable spots are because he's sick with an infection. And I said, you also told me that it wasn't going to metastasize to his bladder, and yet here we are. So she was kind enough to say, yeah, we'll get an MRI then. So I said, thank you. And so not only will we hopefully put my mind at ease that the new questionable spots aren't more metastasis, but it'll also give us a chance to look at that last tumor and see if what we've done so far has been helping to shrink it, hopefully. Then the hope, if everything goes steady state, is that after 2 or 3 rounds of this new chemo, we'll repeat an MRI and hopefully it's showing that it's shrinking it down and taking care of business. So we know that the type of cancer he has, we knew 2 years ago that it was at stage 4. He's already defied the odds that they originally said 2 years ago. So, you know, we know that this will eventually kill him one day. We know that. We accepted that 2 years ago. Right now, we're just trying to prolong the inevitable. They did say that if this chemo doesn't work, he has less than a year. So, it is what it is, right? We're people of faith. We're a family of faith. From the day that he was diagnosed 2 years ago, we said this is a God thing now. We're giving it to him. And his timeline, not ours. And we're standing by that. So, as long as we wake up in the morning and there's still breath in our lungs, he's not done with us yet. We still have a purpose, so we're still going to be here. So, every day is a good day, and all the time you have is good time, right? So my mind is at ease more. I'm less of an anxious mess than what I have been the last few days. I'm really praying and hoping the rest of this week, what little is left of it, is uneventful and no more hospital time, no more emergency room time. I just want to be home and breathing. Stuff on the farm has just been really falling apart this last week. We've been losing animals, and it's just due to I'm doing the best I can here, but my best is not good enough right now, and I need to get something here. So I'm hoping that a few days of just being home and get some good sleep under my belt will kind of help things. So thank you for asking how it's going. That is a really long update, but I will keep coming back and keeping you guys updated. If this even helps one other person kind of feel like they're not alone in this horrible roller coaster, it's worth it. So thanks, guys.